Hello there. Thanks for joining Modern Wall Street's Trader Talk. I feel like I always have Matt Cheslock on a day of a lot of action, and all that action today is surrounded around that healthcare bill. So, Matt, thank you for joining me.
Absolutely, Olivia. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How you doing today?
All good.
Well, we are anticipating a vote today. It was originally supposed to be around 7 tonight, but now we're really not sure. There's a lot of uncertainty surrounding this. So where do you see the markets going from here? Some hesitant trade or run for your life kind of deal?
Market never likes uncertainty, so that's what we saw on Tuesday, but it was good yesterday. We did not get the sell-off, the two-day sell-off, despite what we saw in London. So, today we're starting to see some concessions being made, and the market's rallied accordingly. We opened a little lower. Now we're seeing we're rallied to the highs of the day, and I think a lot of that's based on the fact that some concessions were made, and looks like this may get done.
Okay, and we also are seeing the VIX heat up a little more today, but if we take a look at the Credit Suisse Fear Barometer, that has had a longer and more significant upward in terms of the cost of puts to calls. So, Matt, going from here as we enter potential uncharted waters, how do you suggest allocation, whether it's options?
Well, you know what? I think, the VIX and the fear factor, all those metrics have been so low for so long. We talked about Tuesday being the first day in 110 days that we saw a move to the downside of more than 1%. So you mentioned the word autopilot, right? And that's kind of what we are on. If this bill gets passed, this gives us reasonable assurance that we can now focus on the next thing, tax reform. And then we can focus on infrastructure as we get to third quarter and fourth quarter this year. So I think your allocation is still going to be in equities. I still think that's where the money is going to flow. The bond, we saw the bonds ticked up a little bit, but not enough. That was more of like, how do I allocate this on a daily basis, not on a long-term basis? So it's still about equities. The VIX has not broken out yet, and I think until it does, you have to be in the equity trade.
Okay, so what equities? What sectors are we looking at?
Well, I'm more of like a contrarian or the value guy. So you talk about retail. Retail has been kind of banged up based on the border tax. And eventually that's going to get worked out. And you would think that there's going to be concessions made in that as well. You can't afford to have all those retail, the mom and pop going bankrupt or, going out of business. That's too many jobs at stake. So there's something there. Eventually that's going to be worthwhile. Energy's another one. Energy's in a tough spot now. If oil breaks below 45, this could be some longer term damage. But they're also up for credit checks now. All these oil companies now are going to borrow money for their capital budgets. That would be in April, the reevaluation. So if oil's got to stay above this price. So those are areas that you're looking at. If you do see significant dislocation or breakdown, you might want to start buying them as you get to third and fourth quarter.
Okay, Matt, now before I let you go, since you have deemed it one of the best of the breeds, I got to ask you about the dollar since we did see a dip in that this week. Have you changed your mind at all about our Benjamins?
No, I think so. It's that we're so far ahead of anyone else. I think the strength in the dollar is going to be important. But we're probably trading right around par here, and I don't think that'll change. There's too much that's out there. There's too much political uncertainty, whether it's France, Netherlands. Now we have London, what we saw over there. So there's a lot out there. I think we're probably not going to see these massive moves in the currency market right now.
Okay, Matt. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me today during all this action. Have a good weekend.
You too. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.